Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're doing all well. Today I'm going to do a bit of a look at a new printer I bought. I thought I'd share it with you. Now, if anyone knows, I've got the ANET A8 and I've had that ANET, I'll show you shortly. I've had the ANET for 5 years, something like that, a long time. And it's been faultless. I've upgraded it, so printed out loads of parts, made it stiffer, things like that. Anyway, it failed the other day. It wouldn't start, and I thought, oh, what's the matter with it? Wasn't sure whether it was a board or anything like that. It turned out to be just a bad wire. But while I was trying to figure that out, I needed to print some parts out, so I was like, oh, I could do with a second printer, to be honest. So what I'd done is I went on Amazon, had a little look, and I found the Ender 3 V2. So I thought, oh, that's right price range, $250, whatever it was, I can't remember. So I bought it, and I'm going to do an unboxing now, but I'm not going to do a setup of it. I'm just going to do all the mods, get it the way I want it. I'm going to add a Raspberry Pi, print a few things out and make it better, maybe change a few things. I am going to do the second Z motor. I'm going to put one of those on. I'll probably change the feed system for the dual axis, for the what they call it, the stepper motor. I might do that, and I'm going to put a sensor on for the bed level, and I might upgrade the firmware, do a few other things. I'll talk about that later, but first I'm going to dive into the unboxing. Not going to go too great, I'm just going to show you what's in the box, and then after that I'll jump to a video about a week later where it's all assembled, and because I want to use it, I want to print out probably like half a dozen, 10 things and different filaments to see whether I like it, because straight away I can see there's a negative straight away, which is the one drive lift screw for the Z axis. You really need two, and I know that, and I've never had this system before where the ANET's got two, and sometimes it goes out of alignment, and every now and again you've got to realign it, drop it to the bottom, use a gauge to get the two heights, 100mm I use, and then it's alright for a bit. So out of every 10 prints I'll recheck it again. Don't know why. So that's one reason. The ANET's only 8-bit, and this new one, the Ender 3, is going to be 32-bit. So that's going to be a big step up, and I'll upgrade the firmware and such. So what I'll do is jump into the unboxing, and then we'll go from there. So back shortly. Show you what's in here, and I'm not going to do a video of setting it up because it's going to be too long. I'm just going to show you what's in, and then I'll set it up. The reason why I bought this is because my ANET A8, I got an error message a couple of days ago. A couple of days ago I got an error message. I'm going to put that in the centre so you can see it. It looks not too bad. I got a message, and I think it was the bed sensor. So, am I this right? So, bit of upside down. I don't know that's upside down. So I think the bed sensor was failed. Comes in like that, so it's well packaged. So I think the bed sensor failed. So I ummed and ahed, and I thought it'd be handy to have a second printer. So I looked around. Anyway, I bought this one. I also bought two more of the boxes. Just here. I'll show you this while I'm here. I'm not going to show you the setup. I'm just going to show you while I'm here. So I picked up two of these. This one is that a Green Tech, G-Tech sensor for the bed leveling. Now tomorrow I've got another one coming, which is the, can't remember the other make. I'll show you in the video anyway. If I can get this thing open. It's just a 3D touch. I've got a 3D touch. That's the one that failed. Well, I assume it's failed. So I bought this one, which is the G-Tech. And I'm going to use this on the ANET A8, and the one I get tomorrow, which is, I don't know which is going to be the best. It'll be interesting to like do a comparison between these two. But the other one comes with the brackets for this one, so that's going to be for to repair the other printer, and I might do a video of that. I'm not sure yet. So I just thought I'd show you what's inside. Let's go a bit closer. It's not too bad. Yeah. So you've got instruction. It's well packaged. Really pleased with the packaging. It's 3/4 made, so you don't have to do a great deal. There's instruction manual there in a bag, protected from moisture, I suppose, or whatever. Warranty card, Creality warranty card, some invitation for Creality Cloud. I'll read that later, and something about just saying dear friend or something. So the instruction manual looks okay. That's in Chinese and English all mixed together. Easy, straightforward. So there's our parts list. What I'll do is I'll have a little read of this before that. I'll probably put this together without that. I'm hoping this is going to be a massive step up from the ANET A8. Now the ANET A8 I've had for years. It's the only one I've got. It's been faultless. When I need it, I print some out, and I needed to print some of these out. I printed a handful of these because I was going to make a cage, and I thought, oh, I'll need a few more, so I was just getting ready to print them out. They're all done on the ANET. And when I switched it on, I got an error message. But no, it wasn't an error, it just stopped working. Type of thing. I could move the axis up and down, so the printer itself's fine. It's just something else, and it's the sensor. I wouldn't do a reset, so I couldn't do a reset for the sensor. Anyhow, so there's what comes in the box. I'll just get a few things out if I can. I don't know how this comes out. It's well packaged. Some struts. It's caught there somewhere. It's caught under there somewhere, but I think it's all connected up. So there's the hot end with the little rubber wheels. Plasticky, yeah, more plasticky. So that's that. See if I can lift this out in one go. Just put that down there a second. There's in the bottom. Just try and angle so you can see everything. So you've got a bit of filament, which is crap really, and all the other bits and bobs, screws, bolts, circuit board there, switch, mains, because I'm in the UK, so we've got the 240, the carriage wheel, scraper, some tools, axis, some more tools there, and the carriage. This is the lead screw's actually got a plastic cover over, so it'll all be greased up. That's nice, nice touch. And then there's a motor there, Y-axis I think, X-axis I don't know, one of the two. So there's some tools. There's the handle for the filament holder, and that's it. What's in the box really, and that's a little underneath. Nothing else. So yeah, just show you everything what comes with. I'm not going to do a video set it up. I'm going to set it up, and I'll get back to you when it all works. Now I have got some things coming tomorrow. I do have If I can take this out, actually show you. Okay. So now you can see that. Yeah, so there's two motors on there. This is plastic. This filament guide is plastic, so I've bought aluminium one of these, and so I'm going to replace that. It probably works fine. It looks alright. It's got brass insets. It's probably not wrong with it, but I just wanted a all metal one, which I have on the other A-net. The rest of it looks okay. There's where the lead screw goes. I might later on buy a backlash fitment. I don't know yet. So that's really what comes with it. There's a motor. Just try to get everything out so you can see. And then we go to it all a little bit more. If I can just... Oh, there's something else there. Hold on. Let me just put a few things down. It's 3/4 set up, to be honest. Oh yeah, that's the screen. I can get out. Yeah, it's well jammed in that. What the hell? The screen doesn't want to come out. If anything, it's well packaged. Now I'm gonna... That's everything out, so that can go back into there. That's the screen. Plastic. It's not touch screen. Just got a button. Take that off later. Just clips on. That bolts on. You can take it or not. Now I'm going to update the firmware of the board when I find out what version it is, and I'm going to update this as well to the latest firmware. And I'll do all that. And I'll let you know whether there's any issues with it. All looks good. Certainly not damaged. It's got a glass bed. Let's have a look what comes in here. Some screws and bolts, some filament which is really tightly wound, which will be all cracked probably. Waste of time. USB thumb drive with a card in it. Probably about 4 meg or something. A belt, tooth belt. Hand wheel for feeding the filament in on yonder. A switch. This one was it Y-axis, Z-axis switch. Some more screws and bolts. What's that? Don't even know what that is. Profile cover. Just some of the covers. And some more screws. And some more screws. Everything's labelled so you can see everything what they are, and also some little clips and a spare tip, a nozzle, nothing for a nozzle. So I'll leave the price, how much I paid, pretty much the same everywhere you go. Now this has got some clips and a glass bed. I think I read up and it said it's like got a coating of like carborundum on, which is basically probably been added when it's been molten glass. So it's got a cover on there. If you take all that off, that comes off. I'll leave it on for now just until I put it together, but that comes off, and it's normally I just on the other one I've got like a stainless steel flexi board where I just bend and they pop off. So I'll have to see how good that's going to be. And there's the unit itself. It's all in one setup really. I just need to get all these wires out so I don't damage anything. So I've ordered, small bit on there. I've ordered some aluminium wheel adjusters, some red ones, just for, doesn't need it, I just ordered some of them and some stiffer springs. So that's for the board, I assume. I'm just trying to get me, can't really disconnect that, not yet. So the front, this is the front. So you've got a tensioner. So you adjust your belt tension. It's quite tight. Yeah. You feel a little bit of play in the belt, so you can just tighten that up. It's better. And then you've also got a mini micro USB port and a card port here, micro SD card port. Now I have got an extendable reader, so I'll plug it into that and then have the extendable reader somewhere. So I'm going to use that. I've got loads of spare parts. Some feet on the bottom, a fan cover for the power supply. Sorry, that's the power supply. So you've got, wait, see that? A fan cover on the power supply, which is that, and that's the main board. I need to take these screws out and check the main board before I download the firmware. But it looks pretty good. Heater bed's all attached and everything. I'm liking it so far. Don't know how it's going to perform like, but I assume it's going to perform better. I'd assume it's going to perform better than the ANET. It's just a more rigid package with this aluminium extrusions. It's pretty much going to be the same type of setup where you can, because the firmware, I've upgraded the firmware on the ANET A8, so it's using the latest, but I think this is 32-bit, sorry, the board's 32-bit, and it's only 16 or 8-bit on, I think it's 8-bit on the ANET. And I remember when I was trying to pack in all the features, like a sensor and just more features what you want, like the mesh bed leveling on the ANET, I ran out of space and I ended up having somewhat like about 1K left, or not even 1K. It was something really small. I managed to like flash it, and then that was it. I wouldn't dare flash it again in case it ran out. So yeah guys, so that's what's in the package. What I'm going to do now is jump to setting it up. I'll just put it together and I'll go through some of the features and I'll print some of it out, and I'll compare it against the ANET actually and see how it works. But I'm really looking forward. Oh, one other thing, there's a tray there, a little tool tray. Doesn't really bother me that, but I need to keep some little bits in, and I'll print a few things out. I'm going to mod it a little bit, so keep tuned and I'll see you in a bit. Right guys, so it's been about a week like I mentioned, and I've done quite a few things to this Ender 3V2. Let's have a little look at it. So there it is all in its glory, and now the ANET A8, which I really like, what it turned out to be was a bad wire on the sensor. Yeah, so I ended up tracking that down. So there was nothing wrong with the printer. It was just because it's moving back and forward a lot, it just must have broke. So yeah, so what I've decided to do with this, just for another video, if you want to keep up before we move back to that, if you look down there, AM8 frame, which I just received a couple of days ago. I'm going to make this into the AM8, so if you want to keep a check on this channel, I'll let you know when that's done, and I'm going to put everything from this onto that frame. And there's all the parts I've printed out for the ANET there, all the red parts and the black parts. I've also got a V6 hot end. We'll take a look in a moment, but let's go back to the Ender then. So first of all, you can see I've upgraded a few little things. I've printed out quite a few bits. I'm using this red PLA at the minute to print out a few bits and bobs for this. I've moved the reel from the top to the side. It just makes more sense because it flows in nice straight angle. Yeah, I've had no problems with it. I've printed all them things and double that, so I've printed out like loads of things on here. Yeah, which we'll talk about in a minute. Also, I've done a few things to do with like my tools, like little brackets and things. So it's certainly done maybe 30, 40, 50 hours of printing, easy. Yeah, so that's that. I printed this thing out just to hold this sensor, the runout sensor. This I got off Amazon. I only bought it because it was anodized. Any switch will do, any some sort of switch. Run the wire through to the main board. The firmware needed upgrading, so I updated the firmware. I'll talk about that shortly to get this to work. But it works fantastic. And what I like about this setup is it unloads the filament for you, which is the ANET doesn't do that. So it unloads the filament for you, which is fantastic. There's an option just in the firmware. I'll show you that. We'll go have a look at that later. So this is a good thing. I'm really pleased I've done this. And then I've upgraded the drive, the E-drive, as you can see. This one's a dual tooth one, so there's 2 gears on there, not just the 1 gear and a wheel, 2 gears. Now this is fantastic because when it's going back and forward, it's not going to slip. You've got like so much more grip. If I try and pull that out when it's like here, when it's somewhere up here, it just turns the wheels. It doesn't slip. One thing to note, there's a couple of versions I've read about where this grinds on the bottom. This is an upgraded version where there's a little brass washer under there. So if you haven't got that version, stick a little plastic washer, or in my case I've got a little brass washer underneath. Small enough, not very big, just enough to keep it up by about 0.2, 0.3 mil. Yeah. And it works fantastic. It's got an upgraded spring. Now I bought this and it was for the wrong model. It was for the Ender 5. So what's happened is I fit it all up. If I can just get the camera in, I can show you. Can you see where it goes in? You couldn't screw a fitting in. If you needed to use one of these fittings, I'll go back a bit so it focuses. If you needed a fitting like that, you couldn't get it in. I'm not bothered, it just fits in that hole anyway, perfect. But it is a bit tight, that lead screw. Just be aware of that. But other than that, it's perfect. There's plenty of workarounds you can do. Now the Bowden tube is original. I've got some Capricorn tubing, which you can just see down there, and I'm using some of that on the ANET. I need to do that, but it's working fine. I will change it shortly, just because I'm going with the blue theme, the blue and the red and blue, and there's blue bits and stuff. So I'm just going with the blue just because it looks nice. So I've done that. I haven't done anything to the hot end. So I am going to change it to a V6 hot end sometime. Sorry about the camera work, I'm just holding the camera. So it's working good. I'm not a big fan of the heatsink on the hot end. It's just a bit small. I just want a bit bigger, but it works fine, no problems. So, but I'm only changing it because I want to go to a V6, and I'll show you that shortly. What I have done is I've put a BL Touch on there. I'll zoom in so you can see it. Hopefully that's focused. Just move out a bit. Yeah, let me just, that should focus there. So stick a BL Touch on. Again, you need to switch it on in the firmware, which is dead easy. A lot easier than programming these ones. I mean, this is an 8-bit board, and I'm literally using all the 8-bit. That's managed to squeeze a BL Touch on. There's a BL Touch there. I managed to squeeze that on, and this bigger monitor, and a few other things. And there wasn't any room left with the 8-bit. I managed to squeeze it on. So if I had to flash this again, I'd be a bit nervous that I couldn't get everything squeezed back on again. But it's working great, and once it goes back into that frame, it'll be a nice upgrade, I think. I might even change this motherboard, buy the upgraded motherboard, the 427 I think it is, instead of 422, and stick this board into the, and then I'll have to look at the screen or something. I don't know. I just like doing stuff like that. I just like doing that. So it's all good, nice and smooth, no problems at all. I've stuck a Raspberry Pi on, as you can see. It's working away there now, and there's a camera, a webcam there, a Logitech one. And now I haven't fixed it. I've left it free so I can turn it if I want to use that one, and then that one. Yeah, just a magnet on the top there, and that magnet just sits under there, and that was 3D printed out. So yeah, I've got that in there. The wire goes underneath to the back. I had to buy 90 degree. Now a lot of people, it's always coming up with, or well it was, it's always coming up with a low power warning saying that needed more 2 amps, 2.5 amps. Now I'm using a Type-C connector, but it's micro USB. So there's only this little bit what's struggling for power. The rest of the cable is pulling like plus 2 amps. So that might be something you might want to look at. Although if you buy the new version, you can get the Type-C connector. Stuck a little fan on there, printed this out and mounted it to the side. Yeah, that works fine. Okay, so the next thing I've done, I printed out a little stand which is the original bracket, the metal black part, and I'll just print out this part. I might change that actually, but it does keep it off the ground so things can go underneath. I'm not really bothered about that. Now I did have a bit of an issue when I first got it, and it was the X motor. It's back there, if I can point at it. This was getting like red hot. I mean really hot. It was like, that's not right. So I printed that out, put a fan on. And it's 24 volts, so I had to buy 24 volt fans. I didn't really want to put Bex on. I didn't want to, so I just took that 24 volt fans on, and it's literally cool all the time. It's like a massive difference. I did get a couple of sort of problems with the frame shifting and missing a few things. I don't know whether, I assume it's the board overheating. It's been alright for a while. If it encounters it again, then I'll look into the board, whether MOSFETs need cooling more. I don't know. So I've done that. That's working great. I've tidied the cables up a little bit at the back. Still got some work to do. Little tool post at the top, not too big, just nice little small one there. Prints these daft little things out here was just a reminder. I did change the wheels from the black plastic ones to the anodized aluminium ones. I'll just nail it down a bit, so you can see. Hopefully you can capture that. So they're a little bit bigger, but not much. But the upgraded springs, these are just, they're not needed. All the things I've done, you don't need to do it. I've just done it because I wanted to do it. Basically, that's just no reason. Doesn't make it better really. Just looks nicer. Maybe that you can argue that these springs make it a bit better, but I don't think there's a problem there. It's a nice thick plate. Moves dead easy, nice and smooth. Tension is a good one. I had to put a spacer in just here because you can see. I can't take that off now. I've stuck it on, but the belt was running slightly over to one side, so I just had to bring this side back a little bit. I don't know you can see, it might not come up on camera, but there's a 0.2mm gap there, so it's lifted it over a bit so the belt runs further this way. But really that's not a problem, that's just fine-tuning things. I did use a square, engineering square, to make sure these were all 90s. So that's that. Once you know that, if you set off and you start to print things and this isn't square, you're going to run into problems all the time. Now that leads me on to the next thing I've done. The lead screw. There's the extra lead screw there. You can see it. I don't know you can get. Can I get my camera in there? It's hard to get the camera in really, but you can. Hopefully that's focused. It doesn't look focused to me, but. I bought that. Amazon will leave the link. So now there's two. The top bit here has got these bearings in. But if you notice, they move because the bearings actually can move. So it's in some way it's like, and obviously that lead screw is a little bit shorter than that one. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, the bearings move a little bit. There's a bit of free play, so you're not like, if your lead screws are not 100% square, it won't matter too much. Yeah. So I was getting a little bit, I didn't want to have too much tension on here that it's gonna stick type basically. So what I've done is these are really loose, well not loose, they're tight, just enough where you can turn them with a bit of force. So they'll turn, but they'll roll up and down on their own. Same tension as these ones, but not overly tense. So that's that done. I haven't done anything else on there. Oh yeah, if you notice there's a couple of wires there. There's a red wire with a yellow crimp on and a blue one there. It focuses. Come on, focus camera. So what I've done is just earthed everything up. So what I noticed is if I took a continuity or a multimeter and I used any metal parts from the frame or from the original earth, these weren't earthed up here. So putting them on, I can get a multimeter on any part of the, as long as it's not painted, i.e. like that screw hole there, that'll be earthed, they're earthed. It wasn't earthed that side to this side, so I had to bridge it, and also the motor. You can see I've earthed the motor. If I can get it focused. I've earthed the motor to the frame, yeah, so I've done that. It's just a safety feature, and I don't know whether it's going to help anything to do with, I don't know, but it's done. Yeah. Next thing I've done is I print this little bit of information so I don't forget which way to turn the wheels, because sometimes because you're looking down it's like a bit weird, and I always go the wrong way, so now I just down and up. Next thing was this, which is cards in the computer, but SD card reader, and I'll show you the box if I can find it. There's a box full of everything. That's not it. There it is. Sorry about that. There's the box. Micro SD to full size SD. Yeah. Amazon. Get my VB, they're all the same. Yeah. So that's worth getting, because the little micro ones are a pain in the backside type of stuff. And nothing's getting fouled up here. So, the tray. Printed out a little tray there. Oh, sorry, the red parts. Just so I can put all my junk in there. You got some all metal hot ends, Teflon hot ends, various screws, some spare. These ones are titanium ends, bigger brass ones and stuff, and some couplings. One thing I need to do is, it's a little bit tight. There's a little ball, that little ball there you can see, hopefully, just where my finger is there. That one's just bending down a little bit because it's a little bit snug. So what I do is I don't like clip it in properly like that, which if I were transporting it would be great. But when you pull it out, it's a little bit tight. I don't like that. So I just leave it like that. So that leads me on to the next thing I've done, which is the height. So I've lifted it up by about 50mm. I'll just bend down so you can see. You see the four legs. These here are square rubbers at the top, and then this is printed out. Yeah, but then the ball at the bottom, if I squeeze it, you can see that. You might see that side a bit lighter there. Can you see that? It's hard to see, but if I move the main frame, it's like quite wobbly. But the frame doesn't move, it's just on these rubbers. So you got like two rubbers really. Rubber there, that come with the printout. Then these ones are actually paintballs, but not paintballs. They're going to paintball machine, but the rubber reballs, so they're just like little rubber balls, and just fits in that little cup. I didn't want to buy the big squash balls what people have been buying, so I just got them because I already had them. I've got like thousands of them. I fire paintball reballs in the house, which is a paintball gun type of thing. Stuff, reusable. So I've done that, and you can see, hopefully that'll come up on camera. There's a motor there, and the other motor is at the back. You can see that. There's two motors, so I've stuck two 24-volt motors, one on the motherboard and one on the power supply. So the way I've done it is the air comes in with one motor and gets sucked out with the other one. So yeah, it's working great. Nothing's getting warm. Everything's good. See if I can show you a different angle there. Yeah, that's from the back. So let's just jump down here and I'll show you some of the items which I bought, because adding all the little bits up are quite expensive. That's the V6 hot end I was talking about. So this is going to go on there eventually. Let's just move them a little bit. Now, as you can see here, I bought off Amazon this aluminium blue. I bought it because it was blue, really. It's not quite the right colour blue, but it'll do. So it's an aluminium part. Wasn't expensive. And then I've 3D printed this part, that, this and this. And as you can see, there's a bracket. It's a nice little unit. It's going to be really like tidy. The wires are going to come up through the top. The Bowden tube comes up through there. Again, I had to get a 24 volt fan because we're going from 12 volt on the internet to 24 volt, and also for that as well. So I ended up buying a lot of fans, and I'll show you them now. So there's the one I'm gonna, that's what it looks like. The only difference is I've got a all metal hot end in these two, and a titanium tip in there, and a 24 volt heater block. Yeah. The only thing I'm not sure about is whether the thermocouple will work. If it doesn't, I'll have to get some, but I think it will. I mean, I can use the original which comes with it anyway, so it's not really a big problem. Yeah, there's some of the parts I'll just show you while I'm here for the new build I'm doing. If you keep tuned, put the bearings in there. I've got the bearings in them blocks, so that's all done on the ender. There's the power, the motherboard. There's a 24 volt fan there. That'll go on. That's all done on the ender. And that's for the bracket for the power supply. For the feet, motor blocks, tensioner and stuff. There's a tensioner there. The bearings are already in there. This slides back and forward. So that. I need a screw for the end, that's all. So that took quite a while to print them out, but I'll be putting that together shortly. I'll do a video for you. So I did buy one of these backlash, anti-backlash nuts and bolts and springs, but they were the wrong ones. They were the right ones for the ender. So what I tried to do is, if I can just open this with one hand, you can see the original. Let me get them out. There's like 3 of them. I don't know why they came with 3. Why do we have 3? But anyway, it worked out okay because I can use these other 2 for the upgraded internet. So see how they're round? Yeah, they're totally round, but on the ender they're not. They're like oblong. And also, so what I've done is I thought, oh, I'll just cut that down. So I took it on the miller, milled that down, made a good job of it, but the holes are slightly out. So then I gave up. I thought there's no point in me trying to put new holes in. It's easier to just buy some. So I bought the correct ones for the ender. And it doesn't matter because these can go on the internet. So all I've done is lost the one, really. I'm not really bothered about that. But the correct ones are like that, if you can see. Yeah, it's just the holes were wrong. So not a problem. They're not expensive. I got myself a load of these brackets. These are going to be for the new build. That's probably about nice. These are metal and they're going to go in the corners to give us that little bit of strength in corners. So there was them. I upgraded. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. These are off. Or one of them was off the ender coupler, and I've changed it to the springy ones and done the mod for that with the ball bearing in. So I've got 2 spare ones, and on the internet they've got the springy ones as well. I might have some spares somewhere. I'll show you them in a minute if I find them. Had to get some bearings, various bearings to do different jobs. So there's a couple of them, small ones. These things are worth picking up, especially for the extrusion frames. I'm going to use this type of stuff to cover all my wiring, so I bought a load of that just to keep me going. There's some more parts I printed out off on the ender. It all worked out great. I was going to make some sort of jig to keep the other axis up with a weight, but turned out it didn't work. There's a little frog and such. So they're all printed on the ender, so it works great. They're the 24 volt fans. I'll show you them if you're interested in getting these fans. Yeah, Amazon again. I got them as 5. They're the small ones that go onto there. Yeah, they're the small ones, 24 volt. And then let's have a look. I'm going to use these Drylin bearings on the ANET A8, so they're going to be changed to them Drylin bearings. That's the Raspberry Pi I'm using, which I use it mainly just for when I'm downstairs and it's printing away. I can just monitor it really. There's the BL Touch I bought for the Ender Creality. Yeah, bit expensive, but works fine. Comes with a bracket, see, so that's why I bought that one. So it came with a proper bracket. I didn't have to mess around. I just put that on. I also bought a second one, but not to BL Touch. I got there's another version which is a 3D one. So that's a 3D Touch, and this was to fix the problem on the ANET, but it worked out it wasn't a problem, so I've got a spare one there just in case I need that. Some tail smoothers, there's the one there. These are the same ones on the ANET, but I bought some more and printed out a few little covers because I was going to use them, but I don't think I'm going to need it because the quality is quite good. These are 12 volts for the ANET, and that's the 24 volt one I used on the, that's up there just at the side, so it should say on there 24 volt. Yeah, if you can read that. So that's the one I'm using. That's a spare one. And then there's some 12 volt ones. Oh no, sorry, these are 5 volt. So these are for the spares for the Raspberry Pi. Yeah. And then there's a few, but there's the wheels I replaced. Original, not wrong with them. I'll use them for something else. And there's the feed system I use. So it had like a geared tooth in there and just that. These tend to, I mean, they look alright, it works fine, but I think they get fatigued on the corners and break sometimes. I also had to do away with a Creality wheel which was on, I use that for something else. And there's a couple of odd ends I'm going to be making. I like these V6 ones better, seems to work better for me. But yeah guys, just thought I'd show you that, and your thoughts on this printer then. Let's get back to the printer, because I'm nearly finished now. I can switch it on, I'll show you it working. I won't print out, but I'll just switch it on there. There's the screen. I've upgraded the let's have a look. I've upgraded the firmware. I'll show you that now. So you've got on the screen print, prepare, control and level. You've got your hot end, your bed, and X, Y and Z, and fan speeds and such. So if I go to print, there's nothing in there, so it won't say anything. Prepare. It's hard to get this light right. Hopefully you can see that. Just give me a second. It's awkward this, trying to hold the camera. So you got the back, move. You go into move, you can move X, Y, Z, extruder, probe, live movement if you're going to just for measurements and such. Go back, we've got disable steppers, homing, home all, X, Y, Z, set position, manual leveling, Z offset. You see I'm using 2.91 negative. You've got a live adjustment, which is really nice to use. Easy. Micro step up and down, and save. So each time you do anything, hit the save button. Preheat. Just trying to get the reflection. Preheat both, or if you hit it, you can go to hot end or bed or both. Yeah. Warm up, generic, 180 degrees for the hot end. Round about there. You can really set that as well. PLA, ABS, PET-G are the main ones I use. I don't think I use some Flexi now and again. Cool down, change filament, which is good. I'm not used to this. This is a new feature for me, so I can actually load the filament and it'll go back out on its own and just change it. But that's nice. I like that. I use it all the time because I thought when I use that, I thought I bet it gets stuck. So as I start, but it doesn't. It goes in, forces it in, and then it brings it out quick. And that's about it, guys. My battery's about to go, and then you've got your leveling, auto bed leveling. If you look there quick, you've got the create new mesh, view mesh. Just before my battery fails, you can see all your mesh there, which is nice. And the version I'm using is it in control? Info, I'm using the Jayas 2.01. Yeah. Right, guys, hope you like that overlook of the Ender 3V2. If you like this, give us a like, comments leave below, and if you haven't subbed, I appreciate it if you can drop us a sub, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.